Every great building begins with one thing: a strong foundation. In today's video, we'll break down the step-by-step process of isolated or pad foundation that lasts a lifetime. Whether you're a student, builder, or homeowner, this guide will give you the knowledge to avoid costly mistakes. Let's dive in. The first step in building a stronger foundation is site preparation. The land is cleared of vegetation, debris, and topsoil to create a clean working area. If the soil is too soft or filled with organic material, it must be replaced with more stable soil. The ground is then leveled to prevent uneven settlement. Next comes setting out, which is the process of transferring the building plan to the ground. This involves measuring carefully and marking with pegs, strings, and lime lines. Corners and angles are checked multiple times to ensure accuracy. Proper site preparation also includes identifying the position of columns, walls, and trenches before excavation begins. At this stage, builders also check for underground utilities, water tables, and drainage conditions, since ignoring these can cause serious issues later. A mistake here can affect the entire structure. Even a small error in alignment or levels can throw off the foundation and walls. That's why precision and double-checking measurements is absolutely key. Next is excavation. Trenches are dug to the required depth and width, depending on the soil type and the load of the building. Weak or shallow trenches can cause settlement problems and structural failure later. After the trenches are dug, the column pits are also excavated at the marked locations. These pits are usually deeper and wider than the trench because they carry concentrated loads from the columns. The size and depth of each pit depends on the design, soil condition, and the type of structure being built. During excavation, it's important to keep the sides of the trenches and pits stable to prevent collapse. In areas with soft or loose soil, shoring or temporary supports may be used. Proper excavation ensures that both the trenches and column bases are ready to receive blinding concrete and reinforcement without risk of uneven settlement. After excavation, we move to concrete blinding for column base and trench. At the column base in the trench, a concrete blinding layer or hardcore is placed. This thin layer of plain concrete, usually about 50 to 75 millimeters thick, provides a clean and level surface to work on. It prevents the reinforcement steel from coming into direct contact with the soil, which can cause rusting and weaken the structure over time. In some cases, a layer of compacted hardcore broken stones or gravel is used before the blinding concrete to improve stability and drainage. The hardcore is well compacted to reduce voids, then the blinding concrete is poured on top. The blinding layer also acts as a guide for reinforcement and formwork placement, ensuring the steel is positioned at the correct level and alignment. Without it, reinforcement might shift or get embedded in soil, reducing the effectiveness of the foundation. Next is reinforcement and formwork. Steel reinforcement is placed inside the trench where the column base are located according to design. This strengthens the foundation against tension forces. Erect shuttering/formwork around the foundation and column base to shape the concrete. Concrete is then poured into the formwork of the column base in layers and compacted properly to remove air pockets. A good concrete mix ratio ensures durability. Poorly mixed or unvibrated concrete leads to cracks and weak points. Formwork removal and curing the column bases. After the concrete has set for the recommended time, the wooden formwork around the column base is carefully removed. Removing the formwork too early can damage the edges, so timing is important. Once the formwork is off, curing should begin immediately. This is usually done by sprinkling or ponding water, or by covering the surface with wet materials like sacks or polythene sheets. Proper curing helps the concrete gain maximum strength and prevents cracks caused by rapid drying. Curing should continue for at least 7 days for normal concrete, and even longer for larger foundations. This step ensures the column base is strong enough to carry the loads from the structure above. Once the columns are set, pour plain concrete blinding across the trenches. The next step is block work/foundation walls. Lay blocks or masonry walls inside the trenches, raising them up to the ground level a few courses. These act as the foundation walls. Backfilling and ground floor preparation. After the blockwork reaches a required height, the open spaces around and inside the foundation are filled with selected soil or sand. This process is called backfilling. The soil is placed in layers, and each layer is compacted thoroughly using a rammer or mechanical compactor. Proper compaction is very important. If the soil is left loose, it can settle later and cause cracks in the floor slab or walls. Once the backfilling and compaction are complete, the ground is leveled to the required floor height. At this stage, a thin layer of plain concrete, called a ground blinding layer, is often spread over the compacted soil. This blinding gives a clean, firm surface for laying the ground floor slab, prevent contamination of the structural concrete with soil, and helps in setting out reinforcement accurately. This step marks the transition from the foundation to the start of the superstructure. A well-compacted backfill and proper blinding ensure that the floor slab above will be strong, durable, and free from settlement issues. A strong foundation means a strong building. Follow these steps carefully, and your structure will stand the test of time. If you found this video useful, give it a like, share it with fellow builders, and subscribe to The Builder's Eye for more construction insights. See you in the next episode.